Today, we are diving deep into a question that I guarantee every single one of you has asked at some point. What in the world actually happens to my resume after I click submit? We are going inside the algorithmic gatekeeper.
You know the drill, right? You spend hours finding that perfect job, you polish your resume until it shines, you write a fantastic cover letter, and then you hit submit. And then nothing. It's like it just disappeared into a black hole. So where does it really go? I mean, does a real person ever even lay eyes on it?
Okay, look at this number, 73%. That is a huge number. And it kind of points to a massive breakdown of trust in this whole hiring thing. But what does it actually mean?
That's the percentage of entry-level applicants who are absolutely convinced that the resume got screened out by a machine before a human ever had a chance to see it. And here's the kicker. They're not wrong. This isn't just paranoia anymore. It's the new reality of a hiring system that is just completely, utterly overwhelmed.
And all this brings us to what experts are now calling the great talent paradox. Think about it. We are living in the most connected global job market in the history of the world, and yet, for you, the individual applicant, it feels more impossible than ever to break through. So let's get into why that is.
The volume is it's staggering. For a big, well-known company, a single job post can pull in 1,000 resumes in just 2 days. 1,000! There is no human team on Earth that can possibly read through all of those. So this flood of applications has basically forced companies to lean on AI, not just to organize things, but to make that first brutal cut, to actively screen people out.
And here's what that actually looks like in the real world. As AI gets better and better at doing those basic entry-level tasks, the jobs themselves are starting to vanish. Just look at the UK. Tech jobs for recent grads dropped by 46% in a single year, and they're projecting another 53% drop by 2026. The whole idea of a career ladder, it's literally being dismantled from the bottom rung up.
Okay, so what is this technology that's making these huge decisions about our careers? It's time to peek behind the curtain. Let's go inside the black box and see how this algorithmic gatekeeper actually works. All right, so the systems we're talking about today are a million miles away from the old applicant tracking systems, the ATS. The old way was clumsy, it was basically just a fancy word search, it looked for exact keyword matches, that's it. But these new AI agents coming in 2026, they're way more sophisticated. They would just hunt for words, they actually understand meaning.
So how on earth do they do that? Well, it's basically a 3-step dance. First, the AI reads your resume and turns all that text into a complex mathematical thing called a meaning vector. Then it does the exact same thing for the job description. And finally, it calculates the space between those two vectors to get what's called a semantic similarity score. See, it's not matching words anymore, it's matching entire concepts.
And this is where it gets really powerful. An old system, it would totally miss this. But a modern AI understands that the skills you use for, say, churn modeling are super relevant for a revenue analyst job, even if you've never had that exact title. It sees these hidden connections, which is fundamentally changing what it even means to be qualified for a job.
But, and you knew there was a but, this incredible power has a really dark side. Because when you train an AI on decades of our own biased hiring data, well, it can learn to copy and even amplify all of our worst human prejudices, but on a massive scale. And that's when a tool that was supposed to be about efficiency becomes a source of real, profound harm.
A huge study in 2025 from the University of Washington just laid this all bare. Researchers sent identical resumes to these AI screeners. The only thing they changed were the names to suggest different races and genders. The results were just devastating. Resumes with white-sounding names were picked 85% of the time. Resumes with female-sounding names, just 11%.
But here it is. This is the single most damning statistic from that whole study. In some of the trials, when a candidate with a black male name was in the mix, they were rejected every single time, a 100% failure rate. It's just a chilling reminder of how these systems can build walls that are impossible to climb. So how does this even happen? Well, it's often through this sneaky thing called proxy variables. The AI isn't explicitly told, hey, discriminate against women, but it might be trained on decades of hiring data, and it learns that a multi-year gap in employment is a bad sign. It has no idea that gap was for parental leave. It just learns by proxy to penalize mothers.
And listen, the screw-ups aren't just about bias. Sometimes it's about just basic common sense. In a pretty famous case now, the entire McDonald's McHire platform holding the data of 64 million applicants was secured with the password
Wait for it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It just goes to show you, the most advanced AI in the world is only as strong as its human oversight.
So you've got these opaque, often unfair systems, right? Well, applicants aren't just taking it lying down. They are fighting back. What we're seeing now is a full-blown tactical arms race between job candidates and the machines that were designed to filter them out.
And the candidate's playbook is getting wild. People are using prompt injection, which is like hiding secret commands for the AI in invisible text, or white fonting, where they stuff their resumes with hidden keywords to game the scoring system. And it's going beyond just resumes now. Some people are using AI to alter their voice, their background, even their appearance in video interviews. It's wild.
All of this chaos has, unsurprisingly, caught the attention of governments all over the world. A regulatory crackdown is starting to happen. The EU is pushing for a right to explanation if an AI rejects you. New York City now makes companies do annual bias audits on their systems. And in places like Ontario, Canada, companies legally have to tell you in the job ad if they're using AI to screen you. The walls are closing in.
So, where do we go from here? The way forward, it seems, isn't to just throw out the AI. It's about using it smarter and more ethically. The big idea is all about keeping humanity in the loop.
And one of the most positive signs is this big shift towards skills-based hiring. Instead of just looking at what fancy university you went to, AI can now evaluate your actual work, your project portfolio, your code on GitHub, and this is a huge deal, reflected in the fact that today, only 5% of employers still require a degree for all their entry-level jobs. That's a massive change.
Which brings us to this really crucial insight. The companies that win in the future won't be the ones with the most AI. They'll be the ones with the best governed AI. Success isn't going to be about the raw tech. It's going to be about transparency, fairness, and good old-fashioned human oversight.
And the key practice that's emerging from all this is called human in the loop, or HITL for short. It's a simple rule, but it is so powerful. An AI can recommend candidates. It can surface the top matches for you, but it can never automatically reject someone. The final no always has to come from a person. And really, that leaves us all with a fundamental question. This technology is forcing us to make a choice. We can build systems that are all about raw efficiency, speed, and volume, and just accept the biases and the black boxes as the cost of doing business. Or we can demand systems that are transparent, that are fair, and that are ultimately designed to serve human potential. The choice really is ours to make.